This episode of The Horror Show is brought to you by Emmett C., who donated over at patreon.com/IHateHorror. That's a monthly donation service, but I mean, if you guys only want to donate once, you can cancel it after the first month. Every little bit helps. It actually just allowed us to buy some new equipment for the show, so it's a huge help to us, and we really appreciate it. So thank you, Emmett C., and thank you to everyone else who's been sponsoring us on via Patreon. Just a quick note about this episode. A parental advisory is encouraged, even though you're probably all parents yourselves, so it makes no sense. Wear headphones. We do the Rob Zombie. We talk even more in depth about the Rob Zombie fan fiction, and it gets crazy. As you can imagine, any Rob Zombie dialogue does. So this isn't the episode you want to listen to at work with no headphones. So just put them in. Just do it. Speaking of Rob Zombie fan fiction, this is the episode where we, I guess you could say, discovered the idea. And that idea, just a reminder, is get your Rob Zombie fan fiction into us. It's a script. You can have, stage direction and all of that in there if you want. Not too long, maybe like 3 to 5 minutes max for a scene. And whatever characters you need. The ones we have gotten in so far are insane. And they also sound exactly like Rob Zombie, which is crazy. So send those in. Sean, you can email him, sean@IHateHorror.com. That's probably the best way to get them in so I don't lose them all. Send those in. I think we're going to be closing it on the 6th of November, which would be this coming weekend. And that's my son playing PJ Masks toys right behind me. What do you want to say?
Happy Halloween!
She's always asking why I like watching people die, and why I give my kicks while others scream and cry. And my friends think that I'm sick, or maybe uneducated, and my family doesn't want to admit that they are related. And monsters and madmen who rape and mutilate are perfect entertainment when I take her on a date. You can shove and spark with vampires and family comedies. Give me blood and beast and booze and take the triple B's. Don't ask me why, 'cause I don't know. Don't close your eyes, enjoy the show. 'Cause I'm a gore hellbound horror movie lover. I like my voyeurism with a glass of red rum. 'Cause I'm a gore hellbound horror movie lover. Good and evil are just colors.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Horror Show. Show that dissects, mutilates, dismembers, and butchers all of your favorite and not so favorite horror movies and other horror-related events. I'm Dr. Sam Loomis. That was terrible. I'm Sean.
I'm Joe.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. We're still talking about Rob Zombie Halloween movies.
Yeah. I wish there was more of them.
Oh, I wish there was dozens and dozens.
Imagine he did all 6.
That would be so funny. Wait, why doesn't somebody remake 3? And people will be like, oh yeah, maybe they'll actually make a 3rd. And they just do another, like Rob Zombie's like, I'm doing Halloween 3. And
That would be
everyone's so
awesome.
excited, and it just has nothing to do with Michael Myers or Halloween at all. It doesn't even have to do with Halloween 3. It's just like
His own separate
just
entity.
a movie.
Yeah.
Just a weird movie.
That'd be awesome. I'd be all on board.
I would be too. That's not what this is, though. This is Halloween 2.
Yeah.
Somehow Sherry Moon Zombie gets more screen time.
She's more than the first one. She's dead.
Somehow Dr. Sam Loomis gets more screen time than the first one.
Somehow he talks more than the first one.
He should be dead, and
or at least blind.
and he plays almost no role in this film.
Like, as far as pushing the plot along?
You could remove his character
Oh,
from
for
this
sure.
movie.
He does nothing.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I convinced myself earlier today, like, why he was that way, but then I forgot. Because I had to think so hard about it.
So Sam Loomis is in this. We're just going to talk about this movie.
Yeah. Fuck it.
So Sam Loomis is in this movie, like, a ton. Like,
he's the main character.
They split up the scenes between Laurie and Sam Loomis. Except the Sam Loomis story is literally just him on a publicity tour.
And he's so mean.
There's nothing
Dude,
else.
He's the meanest person of all time.
He's such a
In the
dick.
first one, he's so nice.
And it's supposed to be like humorous, like that he's just this.
Are you
curmudgeon
sure?
dickhead. I think so. But listen,
I don't think so because he's so mean to his assistant.
yeah. Oh well, he says he's gonna hit her. He says he's gonna punch her.
He goes, "When I want your opinion, I'll beat it out of you." What?
And yeah, it's really weird. And I almost think that Rob's. You know how in sports, like especially basketball, you have like, I guess it's in baseball too. There's always like chemistry guys, like guys that are like locker room guys. Like they're just good morale. Like they're not the best player, but you keep them around because everyone likes them and they keep the locker room happy and stuff. Maybe that's what Malcolm McDowell was.
Well, I can get behind that.
Yeah, because you showed me
The
some
outtakes.
clips. Yeah.
Yes. And I would work with him in a second.
And there was actually a little bit of like trivia on IMDb.
I would work with him. Of course I would. I'm fucking nobody.
But there was even like trivia on IMDb that was like they went through so many takes because he just made everyone laugh.
Yeah.
And yes, part of me thinks he's just like a locker room guy, and like Rob is like, well, we need him back, like keep the crew happy, making another terrible movie.
Oh, you think he knew?
No, he didn't know. He thought he was making a fucking art house pick here. This movie sucks.
Very much
For
so.
a variety of reasons. And I have no interest in arguing or debating anybody about it. It's unenjoyable. It's not even about Michael Myers. I mean, it is, but it's not the Michael Myers we know.
It takes everything you knew and loved about Michael
Yeah.
Myers, which he kept intact for kind of the first one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
More or less. Like there were obviously changes.
You might not like that movie, but it was...
Still Michael Myers,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, kind of, even that is still a stretch.
But I mean, but compared to this,
you're
it's
just
Michael
like,
Myers.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, man. Like, fuck. What the fuck?
I mean,
like, what is this?
Michael talks in this movie. He has a great big bushy beard.
Yep.
He eats a dog.
Yep. He carries a knapsack
Yeah.
around. He carries a backpack like a fucking like Rambo. And what does he have in it? A kitchen knife and a fucking mask.
Yeah.
Because he's not wearing his fucking mask in this movie. He just carries it around and puts it on when he needs to. Which I get. Jesus Christ. I just fucking hate this movie. Like I was like really disappointed with this.
It's astonishingly bad.
Yeah.
And it's
And
also long.
And it's so fucking long. And we open up again with more quotes on the fucking screen about white horses.
About
I didn't
white
even write
horses,
it down
yeah.
because it doesn't matter. I was so fucking
Loomis
angry.
or get the fuck out. If it's not a quote by Loomis, I'm not reading
yeah. We see some like Sherry and the kid, which they couldn't even get the original kid.
No.
They get this fucking knockoff that sucks.
Because he aged
balls.
too much.
Yeah, well, just play clips from the fucking.
That's my note. Why is there not an actual flashback?
And they're just talking to each other, and they're all in white the whole time, and literally that's not explained. Like
Well, the white horse.
what they are, what it means. You've never seen Lords of Salem, right?
No, I didn't.
I know some people like it. I think it's a pile of shit, and I think this was its prelude because it's
You
all
like
that.
this more than Lords of Salem?
Do I like this more than Lords
Yeah.
of Salem? Yeah, only because at least there's some story to this. Lords of Salem makes no fucking sense, and it's like these scenes of like the horses and shit, but the 95% of the movie. So
We'll go home and watch it tonight.
and a lot of naked, gross women rolling around all over each other.
Okay.
It's fucking bizarre. It's fucking bizarre. I'm not okay with seeing, and I'm not making fun of the women per se. I just think it's gross when you like gather a gaggle of women and just make them naked and like rolling around on each other. There's nothing like appealing in that to me. I'm just like, this is fucking gross and weird. And these poor actresses, like, we're like, yeah, I need some cash.
Yeah, right.
I'll roll around naked for Rob Zombie. Get the fuck out of here. Little Kid Myers and Sherry are talking, and they say some stuff. And then Halloween 2 is on the screen. And we hear the sounds of the end of the first one.
Yep. Cuts to 15 years later.
15 years later, Laurie's walking down the street. like covered in blood.
So it's not 15 years later from the first movie. It's just 15 years later from that flashback, which was also
15 years. God damn it! Does he think
someone's confused?
He's like catering this to like, oh, maybe you didn't see the first one, but guess what? They'd be so fucking confused the rest of the movie because nothing else is like that clear.
Yeah,
like what the fuck? And we see the sheriff comes. He stops her. Which, by the way, weren't the cops there at the end of the first one?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter because this whole scene is a dream, right?
Yeah, but so much. Well, okay, so that's my question to you because Michael Myers escapes from the ambulance here.
Yes.
In the most stupid way possible.
Yes.
The ambulance,
and that is factual.
Right, but it was also part of the dream, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know,
but it is factual because they say later on in the movie, like Malcolm McDowell's in an interview, and they mention that he escaped from the ambulance,
and he's like, "He's fucking dead." Yeah. Malcolm was not there. Also, you were blind and dead yourself.
And also, the whole movie you've been asked, is Michael Myers still alive? And you're like, or you'd be like, or they'd be like, what happened to the body? You'd be like, I don't know. And then this one reporter,
which is true, he doesn't,
yeah,
because he wasn't fucking there.
Yeah. And then this one reporter is like, finally, just is like, what's going on? And he's like, he's fucking dead. You don't know that. This scene is again just like typical Myers, like just so overdone.
Did we say how he escaped from the ambulance?
No, they
hit a fucking cow.
Yeah.
Why does that happen?
Well, because we need to see a 15-minute scene of two like rowdy morgue drivers.
Okay.
Talking about
typical
fucking corpses.
Talking about necrophilia.
Right. Talking about fucking corpses and like the classic jam jelly joke.
The EMTs were like operating or stitching up Myers,
yeah.
and like the gore there was real looking. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, not a terrible start. And then we go to the guy who played Unser and Sons of Anarchy and some other guy. He's like, yeah, you ever fuck a corpse? And Unser's like, oh god, I would never do that. He's like, oh, I want to fuck one. He's like, whoa, and he just runs into a fucking cow. Yeah. And then not only does he run into the cow, Michael Myers does not escape right away. We have to watch this guy fucking gargle on broken glass for at least 7 minutes.
Dude, it's so fucking
He's
long.
like,
and then Michael Myers is just like walking around the long way of the car.
Michael Myers takes...
he walks all the way around the opposite side of the
stroll. Car. He exits the ambulance so slowly too.
Dude, so smoothly. Like nothing...
Everything he does in this movie is slow. It's painful.
Oh, like when he walks through...
The last 45 minutes he is just walking through meadows.
Cornfields. He's just walking through miles and miles of cornfields, and
yeah.
You know, I made a joke online today where I was like, what's worse? Myers driving the car in the first Halloween? It wasn't what's worse. It was what's more
believable?
Unbelievable, or like what's more out of place? Myers driving the car in the first one, or Michael Myers carrying around a knapsack the entire movie in this remake. And overwhelmingly it was the knapsack, because people were like, what does he need a fucking knapsack for? Correct. Because he has dogs.
Yeah.
It's not like he's packing lunch.
I mean, he does not know how to drive.
No.
Why would he assume, like, pick that up so easily?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of trouble with the driving. But it's like, at least it's like, you know, well, at least we don't have to watch him walk through a cornfield for 45 minutes.
Agreed. I'd much rather him drive.
Carpenter's like, well, it's unrealistic. We can't have him walk 17 miles in real time.
That's 100% correct.
So why don't we just give him a fucking car and let him figure it out? So I'll take that over the knapsack any day. Instead of watching him walk through fields. Dude, so long. So many fields.
I'm surprised we didn't watch him, like, start fires, you know, set up campground.
It's pretty fucking close. We watch him eat a fucking dog. Fucking ridiculous. Anyway, the kill scene though with those guys in the ambulance, fucking gory as shit. Really brutal special effects there.
Yeah.
And Michael Myers saws a fucking guy's head off in that scene. That's just unbelievable, man. Yeah. Just unbelievable. Terrible fucking noises too. Yeah. So Myers is free.
Now we cut to the hospital.
Well, more Myers' mom and a horse that's like, come on, Michael, let's go home.
She's a ghost.
Time to go home.
He's like following her.
I don't know what she is. And then Lori's in the hospital, and Michael's chasing her.
And Knights of White Satin is playing on the TV, and it also is still playing fucking 20 minutes later on a different TV.
Yeah, and Michael chases Lori for like a fucking eternity.
Daniel Harris is still alive.
Well, we're not even there yet, man, because this is all the fucking dream still.
No. We find out Danielle's alive in the dream.
Oh, in the dream we find out she's alive? Oh, yeah, because she goes into her room.
Yeah. They like hang out.
Yeah.
Even though they're
the
both
nurse is
like seriously injured.
And the nurse is like, get out of here. And then the nurse gets called, and Lori's like, Lori's a fucking cripple. And the nurse is like, hey, can you get yourself to your room? I gotta go take that call.
Yeah. And then
And
Lori's like,
okay.
Lori's like, I need something for my head. And the nurse is like, turns around to answer it. And it's like, and like blood coming out. I don't even know what
The
happened.
nurse only has like a slit down her like nose. She's not even cut that bad. And
And then no, she reacts. Her timing is so off because she turns around and she's like gargling, and she's like, ah! Like a minute later.
dude, for like 5 minutes, this nurse is just staring blankly with a cut on her face, and Lori's just like, ah! And like she's also not doing anything except make a like they're both staring at each other wide-eyed, like, but no one's saying anything. And then all of a sudden, the nurse is just like, ah! And just keels over, and Lori's like runs away, and Michael comes up.
Of course, is there. How did he get there?
Nobody knows. And they chase Lori into this small, like, little shack. And this was the scene we talked about last week, where Michael looks through the window and is like, huh? Like, which way did she go,
She's
George?
sitting right there, and then he turns around. She goes under the desk, and he can't figure out where to go.
And what makes me laugh about this is you're supposed to feel this, like, oh, shit, what's she going to do? What's she going to do? Because you don't know it's a dream yet. And you're like, what the fuck is she going to do? But then Michael Myers proceeds to punch about 1 million doors into the 1 million escape routes. He's just walking around every side of the fucking building, punching holes, giant fucking holes, kicking holes into the walls. Lori could easily have escaped at that point.
Easily.
Thanks to him.
Why is Michael still wearing his mask?
Which mask?
He's wearing the mask at this point, and then he
Oh.
proceeds to not wear it for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
But they were like operating on him. That mask would be long gone.
Yeah. Well, good news, it's a dream. And a waste of like
30 minutes.
30 minutes on a dream.
All fucking dream. In fact, those notes are all in caps.
Guy, and also, what year does this fucking movie take place in?
I don't know.
Great question, right?
Yeah.
I don't know either.
Okay.
But it's not the 70s or 80s.
No, it has to be our time, right?
I think so. But
Do
you
they have
couldn't
cell
tell
phones?
because everyone acts like it's the fucking 70s. But
Yeah.
there's a Luchagors poster on the side of like the record store.
Yeah.
But why does everyone only have black and white televisions?
Great question. I don't know.
Dude, everyone has the oldest, shittiest TV of all time. Everybody. Lori's bedroom is playing like fucking what our dads watched when they were children, not even when they were like adults. Fucking asinine. Like, I get what Rob wants to do. Like, he needs to put his little like spin on it.
Yeah.
Like, but it just makes no fucking sense.
No. Well, after the dream,
Danielle's alive.
we go to 2 years later. Lori's talking to herself, saying, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead. Danielle's very much alive, and they have a conversation with each other. I have never heard the word fucking used more in a sentence in my entire life.
Yeah. This movie takes all the bad parts of the first one and just puts them.
She swears so much.
Yeah.
And I don't care about swearing. I mean, we swear all the time on the show.
Oh, yeah. Terrible.
It is so forced.
It's so forced. Yeah. Well, it's just like all Rob Zombie commentary. Like,
Like, I fucking went to the fucking store and fucking got a fucking cheeseburger and fucking...
shoved it up my pussy. Dude, yeah, I just can't stand the way his dialogue is. Like, and I think you all know if you listen to the show, like, I hate talking like that, but I have to say that shit just to emphasize how absurd the dialogue is in these. And like,
In 31, Sherry Moon says that, like, within her first shot.
dude, yeah. She walks up to the disgusting old guy. He's like, you want to touch my pussy? And the guy's like, oh, yeah, I
Could
kind of
you
do.
imagine if you were outside and someone came up to you and said that?
Dude, I'd be like, I'm calling the authorities. You're ill.
You want to touch my pussy?
Dude, and she's like grinding on him, and then like it's like we could write a Rob Zombie script. Like it's so easy. Then you have like the friend come out. It's like, oh man, cut it out. It's like, what? He wants to touch my pussy, unlike you old crippled bastard. Can we write a Rob Zombie?
I would
fanfiction?
love nothing more.
I think we could do it, and I think
We'll just read it.
I think
I'll do a table read.
I think we could mail that to a studio, and they'd be like, "Rob, we love your newest movie. We want it made."
Next time Paul's there, we'll do a table read of a fake Rob Zombie.
We should. It's so easy. You just get like one crippled weirdo. You get like one southern asshole. You get Ken Foray in there. You get some like fucking Sherry obviously has got to be in it, and yeah, you just throw those elements in there, and it's just like, oh, you old bastard, your dick don't work. And Sherry Moon's like, oh, I'll make it work.
Make everyone smell each other's fingers the entire time.
Oh, dude, it's just like gross. Everyone's dirty. Sherry Moon's wearing nothing. Fucking gross. Like I used to be like, Sherry Moon's a good-looking woman, and now it's just like, I've seen so much of her stupid, annoying ass that I'm just like, I fucking hate her. The more clothes, the better. This was a great movie for her. Wearing a giant white gown. The less, the better, man. The more, I don't even know how that would work. The more, the better. Whatever. The less I have to see of her, the better.
Yes.
And unfortunately, that's not the case of this movie. She's fucking everywhere. Lori's in therapy.
Yeah, by Margot Kidder. What are the odds of that?
Yeah.
Seems kind of mean.
Yeah, and there's a giant, biggest ink blot of all time on the wall.
Dude, it's huge. It's like the fucking whiteboard behind
It's
you.
like a 10 by 10, 10 by 10 whiteboard. Fucking giant.
I was going to try and talk like a Rob Zombie character while answering your question, just say fucking as many times, but like my brain stopped me because it's so unnatural.
It's unnatural, and it's really hard to do. It's really fucking hard to do, which is why I'm confused why Rob Zombie.
And you
thinks
can't
people
do it
talk
unless
that
you're
way.
yelling.
Yeah, you have to be. All these people are yelling all the time. All the time. I mean, I was just screaming right there. Like,
Yeah.
oh, my pussy. Like, everyone's always screaming. You're right. Oh, touch my
Even
pussy.
when like the two girls are in a bedroom, just screaming at each other.
Oh, my God. It's fucking true. They're always fucking screaming. Like, I just realized every impression I've done is them.
You can't do it talking because it wouldn't be effective. Like, even when she's with the psychiatrist, they're like, so what's been bothering me? You know what's bothering me, you fucking bitch? Like,
You fucking bitch, I hate this. And then in the first one, when the girls are walking home, even then it's like, my gym teacher's a cunt.
yeah. And then they see Michael Myers. We didn't talk about that in the first one. They see Michael Myers standing there. And then, like, the first one, and, like, the original one, they're just like, hey, look at that guy. And she's like, hey, what do you want?
What do you want, you fucking pervert?
And then this one, they're like, hey, fuck you, my dad's a cop.
Quit jerking off to us. And they're, like, shaking their asses.
Disgusting.
Who would talk like that? Who would do that? Dude, they're like legitimately like, man, I think this guy's a fucking pervert. And they're like, okay, yeah, hang on, let me deal with this. Like, oh, does this get you off? Like, why would you do that? And, like, they're all in agreement. It's like, yeah, that guy's a creep. That guy probably wants to rape us. And they still are young.
And then in this one, he doesn't have Loomis yell, but he has him talk very, very loudly.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Lori's never seen an ink blot before. 2014. She's like, what's that? And the lady's like, well, it's an ink blot, and explains what an ink blot is to everyone that already knows. and Lori's like, oh, I see horses.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's like so crammed down your throat in this.
The white horse.
The white horse.
Well,
thing.
yeah, it was
like,
literally the first thing you read.
a definition of what a white horse is, which, by the way, is not a definition.
And then you see a white horse, an actual white horse.
Oh my God, this is so fucking funny. Oh, I lost my spot.
She's at the psychiatrist. Don't worry, nothing happens, and it cuts to Loomis at another fucking seminar.
Dude, and Loomis is just a fucking asshole.
And he's so grumpy in this movie.
Yeah.
He walks by, calls somebody a clam digger,
Yeah.
and is like, "Oh, I don't mean lesbian." Like, what do you mean?
Yeah. It made no sense. And then his assistant's like, I think you mean carpet muncher.
Just correcting his derogatory.
Yeah, fucking terrible. Also, I guess we never really talked about Michael Myers having a giant beard now.
Yeah.
Did we mention that? He's a fucking hobo now.
Mm-hmm.
He carries around a nap. He's dressed like a fucking bum. Which, again, like, all right, Rob, like, you're going the realistic route, which is like, if this dude was like
On a
the
lamb, yeah, he'd have a beard.
Yeah, he'd have a beard. But I don't care. I don't care if Michael Myers is homeless. I'd rather not see him homeless. Like, it's so fucking weird.
We all love the first
He has
ones.
he has his mask on so little in this movie.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. He eats a dog raw too.
I have written down, we already talked about it, but he's at that seminar and somebody's like, so do you think Michael Myers is dead? And he's calm this entire time. And then he just starts screaming, Michael Myers is fucking dead, you gossip mongers. Do you want me to spell it out? And he spells out the word dead.
Yeah. And another weird thing is, like, in that opening scene, he's like, I don't know, man. It's so weird. This whole movie, the Loomis parts are just so fucking unnecessary, man. Like, really, I don't need to see any of it. And again, like, he's like there. He's like, oh, you gossip mongers. And then, like, 3 scenes later, he's like, I'm going on the Tonight Show, and I'm going to go do an interview at the Myers house and be like,
by the way,
talk it up.
The Tonight Show was so funny.
Dude, it was the best
The
scene.
best.
Yeah.
I
I wish the whole movie was.
wish Weird Al was the main character the entire time.
I would actually just take the Sam Loomis story over this.
I would too, because Sam Lewis was so entertaining. Like, none of it mattered. His emotions are so out of whack. Also, he might be a ghost.
And also, he doesn't seem to care at all about what happened to him in the first movie.
No, and he goes out, like, we're obviously going to talk about it again. I do this all the time, but he goes on and on from screaming at people, and then somebody literally points a gun at him, and he's the most calm human being. Like, well,
He's,
I
like, making jokes
understand.
about
Yeah.
it. He's such a fucking raging asshole. A guy points a gun in his face, and then, like, it cuts to him in the car, and he's like, the woman's like, well, the police say it wasn't loaded. And he's, like, making wisecracks. He's like, whoa, well, that's good then. Dude,
Drinking-
don't even talk to me. Don't even fucking talk to me. Just take me home.
Go home. Cancel the rest of the tour.
Making wisecracks. He's so funny. He's great, man. I do love Malcolm McDowell in these movies, even though the scenes are
I mean,
unnecessary. It's not his fault.
It's not his fault. Yeah, I was going to say, the Loomis character's terrible, but it's not because of Malcolm
It's not
McDowell.
because of him. Yeah. He's just great. Some hunters find Michael Myers.
Dude, it cuts the scenes and there's like people walking in cloaks. Was that Michael in the cloak, or was that the ghost of his mom walking?
I don't know.
He did that a couple times.
I don't know. But
But he sees the ghost of his mom before he sees the hunters.
Yes.
And she's like, "It's Halloween, Michael. Don't let me down."
what does that even
What do you
mean?
mean?
Makes no sense.
Never been brought up before.
Makes no sense. And basically, all the kills in this movie are people stumbling upon Michael Myers.
And then trying to fight him.
Yeah, trying to fight him, but for pretty decent reasons. They're like, can you please exit the property?
Yeah, but he's on a huge ass field.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And why wouldn't you just run him over? That guy's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
That guy,
It's huge.
he's got he's nothing to lose. And these guys come out and they just beat him down with baseball bats. Girl tries to save him. She gets stabbed a fucking billion times for her troubles.
Yeah.
She's honestly like, oh, you okay? Are you okay? Michael just stabs the shit out of her, which is more in line with Michael Myers, but
Correct.
not in line with Rob Zombie's Michael Myers, who occasionally just does nice things.
Well, don't worry. Then he eats a dog.
Then he eats a dog, and
Then we cut to Brad Dourif,
yeah,
who Paul must have written this part because he's talking about Starvin' Marvin and then just starts talking about Lee Marvin in movies and being mad at people for not knowing Lee Marvin.
So it is Paul. It is fucking Paul. He's like, who was the first Starvin' Marvin? Was it Lee Marvin? And again, what year is this fucking movie made? And they're like, I don't know who Lee Marvin is, Dad. And he's like, the fuck? Like, he's like, his reaction is Paul. He's like, don't know the fuck Lee Marvin is. He starts listing the shit he's been in.
This is exactly what Paul would do.
It's like, Gunsmoke? The fuck's the matter with you people? And the kids are like, I don't know, Dad.
Brad Dourif needed a way bigger role in both these movies.
Yeah, he did. He was a good character.
I love Brad Dourif. He
Yeah.
always gives it his all.
Yeah. A weird black and white segment with Little Michael, Big Michael, and Sherry. Little Michael's like, he's like, where have you been? And Sherry's like, I don't know. I don't even know what that is. Then we see some pumpkin-headed idiots at the table.
Yep.
And Lori's on the table. And he goes, I did it. I found Boo. Can we all be a family again? Okay. Sure. None of this makes sense. We don't know what. Then it's October 30th. No one cares.
No one cares.
It means nothing. And the whatever. Michael's walking around the fields of Haddonfield, or he just got to Haddonfield somehow. Like, where the fuck was he? He died in Haddonfield.
The ambulance clearly couldn't have gone far.
I mean,
Hit that cow so quickly.
How far is the fucking hospital, man?
Right. He died in Haddonfield.
Laurie's like now having visions.
I mean, Michael's beard at this point looks like Luke in the end of Force Awakens. He's
huge.
wearing a cloak.
It's enormous. It's so enormous that it actually pisses me off that he even wears the Michael Myers mask, because there's no way you could wear that mask with a beard.
Right.
Rob Zombie's such a fucking jerk for making this movie. He really is.
And it jumps all over. Like, it's so hard to
How
explain
mad were you
coherently.
to see Michael Myers' face just like...
I was. And like I knew it was coming because it was a big deal because
Yeah.
he announced it before that movie was released. And I remember all the hype coming up to it. Like before people even saw it, like this is bullshit. And he was like, Rob Zombie was like, don't hate it until you see it, blah, blah, blah. But it is bullshit. And I hate it.
There's just no reason.
Yeah.
It does nothing except just... Again, he was going for the human side of it, but the rest of the movie isn't that. So you
There's a fucking ghost the entire movie.
a ghost and a horse.
Yeah.
A horse ghost.
Well, Danielle and Lori have a spat.
Yeah,
Like,
they do.
I'm not really sure why. They're yelling at each other in the hospital.
I don't know, man. And Lori like goes to therapy. She's screaming at her therapist.
Danielle Harris is like, you're not the only person that got fucked up that day. I want to be like, yeah, we know. You fucking died.
Yeah, you are
You're
dead.
not real right
You're
now.
not real, yeah.
And then, of course, like you said, she goes back to Margot Kidder and just screams at her, calls her names.
Yeah, and then it cuts to a strip club.
A disgusting strip club.
Like, again, dude, it's just so Rob Zombie. It's just, this scene, first of all, they still have posters of Michael Myers' mom on the side of the thing.
Oh, yeah, it's that. Yeah, 15 years later.
15 years later, no.
Yeah.
No. And we meet the strip club owner for some reason.
Fat guy.
We meet his lackey for some reason.
He's in 31.
And we meet a stripper for some reason.
Yeah.
All for nothing except...
So for Michael to show up and bash the naked stripper's head into the mirror 900 times.
Dude, that was fucking brutal. But yeah, it makes no fucking sense, this strip club, except for just more like gross talk.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's so fucking weird. And Michael, holy shit. So the lackey of the strip club gets sent out to like take out the trash. And Michael attacks him and fucking stomps his head.
Yeah.
That might be the most gross kill I've ever seen like in my life. Because that head it's not like a trauma head smash that just like fucking implodes on the first step.
Yeah.
It looks like a fucking skull. And like this guy is so physically imposing that it's believable.
Yes.
And he just stomps the fuck out of this dude's skull until it's just mush. And it is fucking gross, dude.
Very.
It's fucking vile. Oh, God, it's brutal to think about. But then he goes, don't worry, that was brutal. But then he goes inside and the strip club owner's like, I'm going to fuck you like Frankenstein. The stripper's like, oh, yeah, I love that. Rob, have you ever had sex with a woman? No woman's like, yeah, put on your Frankenstein mask and fuck me. Fucking gross.
It's so stupid.
I'm going to give you my Jolly Green Giant.
Is that what he says?
Yeah, that's what he says, which is not even a reference to Frankenstein. So, whatever. Myers walks in, snaps that dude's arm, and bashes the woman's head into the fucking mirror 1,000,000 times.
Yep.
Everyone's dead.
Yeah.
Move on.
Now we go to a book signing.
A book signing for Loomis. And the summary of this is a dad of a victim comes up.
Yeah, the other girl that was friends with them.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to kill you, Loomis. And he pulls out a gun and tries to shoot him, but nothing ends up happening. But before that happens, we see Loomis sign the book for like 3 people in real time. He's like, thank you for coming.
Who's the I didn't write it down.
That fucking weirdo that's like Chet the Death's bringer.
Yeah.
The bringer of death.
Oh yeah, it's the fucking guy from Prison Break. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. But apparently Lori was there because she got her hands on Loomis's book.
Yeah, like later on she's like so all that happens like here's the other weird thing about this, and it happens like throughout the movie. Everyone's mad at Loomis.
Yes.
Why? So like you'd think it was like him profiting off the death of these people, but that's not even what it is.
He's writing about his time with Michael.
Well, yeah, I mean, part of it you'd think is like, okay, he's profiting off the death of these people, like, and that's what the publicist is afraid of. She's like, you can't do interviews in front of the Myers house; that's gross.
Right.
And he's like, fuck it. But then everyone else seems to be mad at the fact that they think Loomis killed their kids.
But that's what the guy's screaming.
Right. He's like, you killed her. Like, he's not mad about the book. He's like, you killed her. And it's like, really, he really didn't. Like, Michael Myers is a fucking lunatic.
It's very weird to be mad at that.
Yeah. But that's what everyone chooses to be mad at.
Yeah.
Even though they could have easily just been like,
You're
piece
profit.
of shit. Yeah.
Making money off my little girl.
It makes no sense.
Not you killed her.
Oh, man. But yeah. And then the cop, the sheriff, Brad Dorff, reads the book and is like, oh, fuck. So he's trying to get a hold of Lori because he realizes Loomis has leaked that Lori is Michael Myers' sister.
Yes.
That's a cool concept, I guess. Except that Lori reads the book in like a split second.
And she reads it in a split second, and at some point, we'll get there later, but she's screaming, hey, world, I'm Michael Myers' sister.
She's screaming from this point on for the next, like, 30 minutes. She's just screaming, and I fucking hate her. I can't stand her voice. I can't stand the way she yells. She's a terrible actress. She is
devastated. Absolutely devastated to find out that Michael Myers is her sister. So the first thing that she does is go to a fucking party.
Wouldn't you also be like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense that he's after me.
Everything makes sense
I'd be like,
now.
this kind of clears up.
Also, I would not go party.
No, I would not go party. I'd fucking move. I'd pack my shit and run away.
Yes.
And then she goes home. Before the party, she goes to Annie's house, which we never mentioned. She's living with them for whatever reason. And she's like, oh, is it Annie or Angie?
I don't know.
I think it's, let's just say Annie. She's like, oh, Annie, like, I gotta get out of here. And Annie's like, well, what's the fucking matter? Like, what's going on? Are you all right? She's like, I got a message for your dad. Tell him Angel says, fuck you. And Annie's like, who the fuck's Angel? And she's like, oh, yeah, you daddy's little princess. You know it all. And Annie's like, what the fuck is going on? She's like, yeah, I'll see you fucking later. Fucking runs out. And by the way, I'm doing it in like a toned down version. She's screaming at the top.
That's all she does this whole movie. So unlikable piece of shit.
And then she gets in her car and drives, and like cars are just driving by her normally. And she's like, "Fuck you, you fucking cars!" What the fuck is happening? She's screaming at cars, and yeah, she goes to her friend's house, and she's like, she's still screaming. I just found out. I just found something out that's really freaking me the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm Michael Myers' sister, and everyone's like, come on.
Yeah, right. Why would you? Also, in between this, like, that's a pretty big plot point, but of course we have to cut back to Loomis being on the Tonight Show hosted by Chris Hardwick.
And Weird Al's there.
Weird Al.
Cracking
jokes. And Loomis is getting so mad.
Dude, it's so funny. I imagine that's how your dad would be like if you were on a late night show. Like, he's there for something, and like somebody makes one joke, and he's like, you fucking
You're ruining my night.
fucking night.
never been more embarrassed in my life.
And I love that he calls Weird Al Mr. Weird.
Mr. Weird, I wrote that too. But yeah, so then Lori goes to the party.
Yeah.
So why are they splitting the scenes like this? But
I don't know. They split it up because even she goes to the party, but then we see Michael Myers walking around a fucking like suburban neighborhood with tons of kids on it.
Yeah.
And like a kid dressed as a clown goes up to him. Like, why wouldn't you just slaughter everyone?
I don't know.
He doesn't though. He just like.
But then at the party, there's a band and some assholes on the mic with the world's biggest mustache.
Dude,
it was so big.
Dude, that guy was so.
And he's so rude. He's just going wah, calling people babies. I don't know why.
And I wrote, my note here is I refuse to take notes on this stupid fucking sex scene with the werewolf.
Why is that happening?
With the werewolf and the girl and the guy on stage saying stupid fucking shit.
My note right there is, why is any of this happening?
None of that needs to be in the fucking movie. And it's so long.
Those two characters
Dude, it's like 20 minutes of that.
having awkward sex lasted so long, and it meant nothing.
And it's intercut with this guy on stage being like, look at this whore.
Yeah, just making fun of people.
And then just cutting, and it cuts back to this awkward sex scene. Then it cuts back to him, and he's like, look at this whore again.
And then it cuts to Loomis watching his own interview that we just saw on
he's
TV.
like, God damn it. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Lori's friend Lori's dead. Lori's friend is dead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, Laura's lost first at the party.
In the party?
Yeah, and then she sees Mrs. Myers as the ghost, and she starts freaking out like she's having convulsions.
Yes, she has like a mental
and they
breakdown.
carry her out.
Yeah.
And as soon as she steps outside, she's like, let's go back inside.
I don't think those scenes were supposed to be next to each other because it makes no sense. She wakes up from her mental breakdown, which is like visions of Mrs. Myers and shit, screaming in the middle of the party. Ah! And her friend's like, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Then it cuts to them walking out, and she's like, she's fucking drunk as shit. She's just like, hey, man, like, let's go back to the fucking party. Why are we leaving?
Yeah, she's
and I'm
just
like,
freaked out.
What the
Yeah.
fuck? Like, they're just so, they don't even make sense together. This movie's such a giant turd, man.
Yeah,
It's way worse than I remember.
And then honestly, the next like 45 minutes is Michael walking really slowly, trying to find her.
In the house.
Well, no, they eventually leave, and we watch them just trek through the woods.
I don't even know what happens, man. So, because Michael goes to Annie's house, where Annie is, Danielle Harris.
Mm-hmm.
He kills her
Again.
pretty easily again. And then Lori and this other friend go back to the house and just start eating cookies for like 20 minutes, talking. So much talking in these fucking movies. I don't need to know anything. And they finally go upstairs and see the destruction. There is blood everywhere in that bathroom. She fucked up Danielle Harris.
And of course, there's a big pentagram.
Yeah. Wait, why was that there?
Who the fuck knows?
The friend goes to call 911. Of course, she's murdered there. And by the way, Lori hears the murder happening. Like, hears all this banging. Maya, what's happening? Are you fucking serious? Of course you know.
You already went through it.
How do you not know what's happening? It's literally the same thing that happened 2 years ago. Fucking idiot. That you dream about every night.
Every night.
And then the Myers chase begins and probably will last the next 30 minutes, I wrote, which I was right.
Brad Dourif shows up and has the slowest like cry break. Like, you know that typical scene where like somebody sees a dead child and they just like drop to their knees and they're like
It's
slowing
just
in
silent,
slow motion. Like, and of course, like in every Rob Zombie movie, it's a flashback of her as like a little kid, interspliced with him being like, no.
Yeah. he's not that good at it. And then Lori runs into the woods in slow motion.
Well, the best scene's about to happen.
Rob will do anything to slow these movies down, including putting Lori running through the woods in slow motion for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, she gets to a car.
Yeah, she gets to a car.
I don't know who that kid was.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. They get into the car. She's running. So first of all, she's sprinting. Michael's walking. We can clearly see how far behind Michael is. He's very far. She gets to the car, jumps in, and Michael is right there.
It's the fastest.
Right there.
It's the fastest get in the car scene of all time.
Like she hops in the car, he steps
usually,
there.
like the guy like putzes around and is like, calm down, like buying time.
No, she gets in that door.
He's like, get in the car.
And then Michael Myers steps into the frame. Steps into the shot.
Kills the guy. Puts him on the hood.
He, with his bare hands, lifts the car up and flips it over into a fucking ditch.
Okay, and it's like, first of all, that's a feat that is incredible. However, the ditch isn't like a fucking drainage basin. It's just a little hill that he rolls it down, and the car lands right side up. And somehow Lori is beyond fucking wrecked. She's unconscious. She's got cuts all over her face. Like, that wouldn't, she had her seatbelt on.
And the car horn's going off for like 25 minutes.
Dude, like it's been in the most devastating wreck of all time. Nothing happened to that fucking car. Oh my God. God.
Lori
then
starts talking to the ghost mom.
Dude, the ghost mom.
If this was called Ghost Mom, it would be so much better.
It would be so much better. The whole Myers family, including himself as a child, are walking through a field carrying Lori. I really don't even want to talk about this anymore.
Well, it's almost over.
I know. So they go into a barn. The police have them surrounded.
Dorf shows up. Loomis shows up.
Loomis, who again, like, why is he even in this movie? He's in this movie for this scene.
Also, he's touring.
Yes.
There's no way the Tonight Show films in Haddonfield.
Well, he watched it and was like, then he changes the channel from like his terrible late night appearance, and it's like, somehow they have the news that somebody saw Myers pick this girl up from the wreck, and he's like, Jesus Christ!
And he's there within
and he's in there.
There's no way Haddonfield's close.
Minutes. And the cop dad is like, get the fuck out of here.
You killed my daughter.
And he's like, I could help him. Like, I can draw him out. And he's like, get him out of here. And then Loomis, an 80-year-old man, somehow sneaks by the police and walks to the house and is like, what? And, like, looks behind him. And the cop's like, how did he get over there? And old sneaky Loomis. But the Loomis storyline is kind of cool in a sense. Like, honestly, though, you could cut out everything besides him going through the news. You could have left that scene in there and it would have made just as much sense.
Yeah.
Like, it just cuts to Loomis, who you're like, oh, fuck, Loomis, I forgot all about him. And
That's what he does in the original.
Yeah, and he's like watching the news, and he's like, what the fuck, I got to get over it. That would have made just as much sense as all the other shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Loomis comes, and he sneaks around Dorf, and he says, you know, he I forget what he says exactly, but he's like, I have to do this for you. Like, this is my way of apologizing for what I did. Or, I owe you this. He says, I owe you this, and he breaks into the house where...
He just gets in there and yells at Michael.
And also one of the cops is Dauber from Coach.
Yes.
I love that guy. And the MOON guy from The Stand. MOON.
That spells whatever. Everything. Potato.
That smells Myers.
I wish you said that. Loomis goes in and yells at Myers and gets immediately thrown through the wall.
Dude, he knows exactly what
Here,
plan goes perfectly. Why wouldn't Myers just stab him in the barn? Instead, he tackles
him outside and then stabs him.
Yeah.
And he also talks.
Yeah.
He says, die. Michael gets shot.
Michael gets shot so much. But like, Myers crashes through the wall and is open to the police, and they just obliterate him with bullets. But it's like, it's not even Michael Myers. It's just a fucking homeless, mentally ill guy. Like, that's what's weird about it. He's not wearing a mask. He's just like the drummer from Rob Zombie's band.
Yeah. John 5.
Yeah.
Buckethead.
And they shoot him to death. And then Lori walks out. Lori is in a fucking maid outfit. Yeah. Like a fucking Halloween costume. Maid outfit. She walks out and everyone opens fire on her.
So she picks up a knife.
Oh, that's why they do it? I didn't.
Dude, well, that's not excusable.
No, because she's in a maid costume and she's 3 feet tall.
It's a knife.
Yeah.
They all have firearms.
You just shoot her in the shin.
Or you just tell her to put it down. They didn't even ask her to put it down.
And they shoot her.
Yeah.
And like, was no one briefed on like who they were there for?
No. Yeah, because Dorf's like, hold your phone.
Yeah. He's like, what are you guys doing?
Which is the right reaction.
Yeah. But like, no one else knew. Like, everyone else thought they were on like a seek and destroy mission. Just kill everybody in there.
Yeah. SEAL Team 6.
Yeah. And she's in a fucking maid outfit again. Like,
so did she die? Because it ends with her in a mental institution.
I don't think that's what that is. I think she's in heaven.
Let's see what the interwebs say, because I thought I looked that up and it says she was in a mental institution.
Oh, well, basically what happens is it pans in from the sky, and you see Loomis dead, Michael dead, and Lori dead. Which, by the way, that ending, I kind of like that ending.
Sure.
You got your 3 characters, and if these movies had made any fucking sense, you have these 3 characters that are fucking tied together, cosmically tied together, dead. All of them dead. None of them end up making it out alive. But none of them, well, Loomis dies at the hands of Michael. But like, no one else, like, Michael's plan does not come to fruition. Everyone dies basically.
Yeah.
In the worst way possible, just being shot by police. And then it pans in with the worst cover of Love Hurts playing.
It's so bad. And
Love
It's so slow, and the original song sucks.
Yeah, I'm with you. Love hurts. Love burns. It's so, dude, it couldn't be any slower, just like this fucking movie. And then we go to a all-white hospital room. That song's still fucking playing. Lori's sitting there. She looks up. Here comes Mother Myers with a horse.
Yeah.
And she smiles. And then the credits.
It
But
says
that sounds quick. But that scene
not.
is
Yeah,
like
it's not.
10 minutes long. That's a wrap, man.
Somebody's calling Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 ending scene the best ending scene ever.
Well, that makes no sense.
It is a psych ward.
I think she's dead. Everything's white, man.
Or none of this happened.
She's dead from the first one.
Or she's alive from the first one. None of this happened.
Oh. Dude. Please tell me that's not true.
I probably should have looked this up
All right.
before. I don't know.
So here we go. Let's talk about some things about this movie. Worse than Texas Chainsaw 3D.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so only because it's longer.
Yeah, it's a lot longer.
Like, it drags
and
on more.
painfully. And just makes no sense. Shit that just like there's no attention to detail in Texas Chainsaw 3D.
No, but I laughed really hard when the car flips.
Yes.
Comparing the two car flips,
Yes.
you have to give it to Texas Chainsaw.
Well, yeah, because he slashes a tire on the car, drives 100 yards, and then fucking spins out.
So 3D has the better car flip.
Yeah. And even though it makes no sense, at least it's like a story. There's a story that it just follows. There's no like apparitions and like nonsense. And like Laurie's being held down by a ghost at one point.
Yes. Yes.
So he had this freedom and like this budget to do his own thing. Like they gave him this budget for this movie, which had to be huge, right? Like all the shit that's in it. It's a big budget. Because he made enough money off the first one. So they were like, all right, do your thing. And he had also gotten rid of the stigma of like being the guy that remakes Halloween, right? Because like that was a big thing, obviously. He remade Halloween. People were pissed. But now he can move on and make Halloween 2 a remake. You know what I mean? Like he can now build this into any way he wants it and like make a really cool slasher. And instead, he made this fucking piece of shit. And that drives me nuts. He had a blank slate for this.
Yep.
Tons of money. And he'd gotten the stigma of doing the remake. He didn't have to. And he does this. And it just makes no fucking sense.
Didn't I read somewhere that he didn't want to do a sequel?
And what happened? What they fucking threatened to kill Sherry?
I don't
Sounds
know.
like a win to me.
Rob Zombie says that she is dying as that scene plays. So
She's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it said
It's a real
that
payoff.
he also alluded that it could just be a symbol for her descent into madness.
Just tell us the end of the fucking movie.
Just show us.
You just made us waste 2 hours of that shit. You might as well just tell us the end of the movie. By the way, there's no way Rob Zombie told the studio what he was doing with their money, right? They would have axed this show so fucking fast.
I don't know, man. This was a frustrating one.
It was brutal. It was fucking brutal.
Love hurts.
Do we have anything else we want to talk about?
No, but I want to find out who sang that song so I can make sure I never.
Oh, the cover.
The cover, yeah.
Sherry Moon Zombie.
Dude, I hope so. I fucking hope that.
All right, guys. Rate, review, subscribe on iTunes. It's the best way you could support us. You can find us on Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, all of those things. If you like, do whatever and just send me an email, Sean at I Hate Horror, and I'll send you a sticker. Shirts, I don't know what's up there right now, but our Halloween shirts are done. When we're at the recording, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Just check out store.ihatehorror.com. I'm sure we've got some cool stuff up there. And any purchase you make, whether it's our design or somebody else's, we put up other people's designs, we get a cut of that. So feel free to shop and not buy our shirt. but buy our shirt. It all helps us out. If you can support monetarily, also we have patreon.com/IHateHorror. We do some bonus episodes, Google Hangouts, stuff like that. So that's just a donation. You can make it one time, but I think it's auto renew. So just make sure you turn it off. If you just want to donate once, that's fine by us. Patreon picks starting again next week or the week after. We'll see. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to get back to those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed doing them.
Oh, and I think they're, I'll tell you exactly which ones are coming up. I mean, we might, at the time we're recording, we might do a couple other movies that we'd wanted to do.
Lady Terminator?
No. But after that, whatever we do, the next Patreon picks will be Lorena with House.
Nice.
The American movie. And Jackson the Go-Getter's Ginger Dead Man 2.
The Passion of the Crust?
The Passion of the Crust.
Yes.
Who, he changed it. He changed his pick. And before we announced that like weeks ago now. We talked about it on the episode, but before he heard it, he was like, can I change my pick? I was like, yeah, it's fine, because I think we want to do a full moon episode eventually anyway, where we just talk about all those fucking terrible movies. And he's like, okay. And I forget what movie he picked, but then he listened to that episode where we talked about The Passion of the Crust, and I was like, why the fuck do you know that? And he was like, after hearing you guys talk about it, I need to hear your input. He's like, I can't do that to everyone. He's like, that'll be so funny. So, yeah, stay tuned for Ginger Dead Man 2 and House. Those are coming up. We got a lot of awesome picks coming. The Pit, Urban Legend.
Yes.
Megan is Missing. The Willies.
No. Paul hates the Willies.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do it for Paulette. And then we're going to have
the 100th ep?
We're going to have our 100th ep in December, Dead Body Man.
Yeah, I'll be sick that day.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So stay tuned for that, because we're going to try and do like a live streaming thing for that. That'll be fun. Anything else we got to do? Plug? I'm on Twitter at I Hate Horror Show, and on Instagram at I Hate Horror.
I'm at Jovi421, Boognish1985, and Horror Show Joe on Snapchat.
Yeah, man, we got to get the fuck out of here. So for Joe, this is Sean. Stay weird.
Thank you.
Oh
my God. Slower than longer.
Adios, Michael. Adios. Let me explain to you the origin of adios. You see, it's a Spanish term, Michael. Michael, do you know why people say adios? It comes from Greek.
From Greek?
Michael, do you know
Lucas,
what
I'm
the
starting to
color
think you don't know
black-
shit.
Do you know where the word shit comes from, Michael? Oh, Michael, don't say it.
Ooh, love hurts.
You fucking cunt.